Hello? Hello there. Do you want some of this? Do you want some of this? There you go.
Oh no. No! No, Spyro! No! 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 Well, just as all good things must come to an end, so too must all trilogies come to an end. You know, because there's 3 parts. That's how trilogies work. See, it's in the name. Tri meaning 3. Unless, of course, the creators insist on adding more lackluster entries that ruin the story because they just can't resist flogging a dead horse for the sake of making a quick buck. But anyway, we've got one last Spyro game to cover, so let's get stuck right in. But before we do that, please like and subscribe. Please? So for the final time, Spyro Year of the Dragon was developed by Insomniac Games and published by Sony Computer Entertainment in the year 2000. We returned once more to the Dragon Realms, where Spyro and his buddies and Hunter, for some reason, appear to be sleeping off the effects of last night's bender, but then some uninvited guests show up and start nicking all the eggs. The heist almost goes off without a hitch, but then the head honcho, the point man it seems, wakes up Hunter, alerting all the dragons. Man, you wouldn't see fucking Sam Fisher make a rookie mistake like that. But even then, the perps manage to escape, and then we meet the mastermind behind the great egg heist of 2000, and it's, Barney the Dinosaur if he was auditioning for RuPaul's Drag Race, apparently. Okay. Back in the Dragon Realms, we learn that the holes the thieves came from lead all the way back to the Forgotten Worlds, or something. But oh no, all the dragons are too big to fit down the holes. Whatever will they do? Well, you know who isn't too big? Yep, looks like it's up to Spyro to save the day once again. Which I don't really get, to be honest. I mean, it makes sense in Spyro 1, because all the dragons were trapped in crystal, so Spyro really was the only one who could save them. And in Spyro 2, he was kidnapped and forced to save Avalar by himself. But here you've got a whole army of dragons. But you're still just going to send poor old Spyro? Hasn't he done enough for you people? And why? Because you lot can't fit your fat fucking arses down the fucking holes? You do know you have these things called wings that, you know, allow you to fly to places. So you know you could just fly there and be all like Ride of the Valkyries on these motherfuckers. But no, instead you're going to send the smallest, weakest dragon you've got and his walking cereal mascot? Some Galaxy Brain level strategy there, guys. So anyway, Spyro, Sparks and Hunter set off on their epic quest to recover the dragon eggs. Let the adventure begin. So here we are in Sunrise Spring, ready to find some eggs. And oh, why there's one right here. Wow, this is easier than I thought. Maybe this whole rescue mission will be a piece of cake. But then the bitch what nicked the eggs, Bianca or whatever her name is, turns up to threaten you.
Those eggs belong to us now, and I've hidden them in places you'll never find in 1,000 years.
Oh, you mean like the one I just found lying around here? Or the one I can literally see from here? Yeah, something tells me she's not the, smoothest egg in the egg basket. What do you want from me? Alright, so seeing as we're 3 games in at this point, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. The basic gameplay is virtually the same as in the previous games. You've got all the same abilities, including the ones you learned in Spyro 2, which I was pleased to see. That's something I hate in games, where you acquire new skills and abilities and then you've got to learn them all over again in the sequel. I hate that shit. Although you don't acquire any new abilities in this game either, not for Spyro at least. And his moveset still isn't quite as extensive as some of the other games I've looked at from this time, but it's not that big an issue. So your objective this time around is to collect the dragon eggs that have been scattered throughout the world. You'll get one for making it to the ends of levels, and others for completing the secondary objectives and mini-games within, while some are just hidden away for you to find. You need to collect the eggs to unlock some of the realms, meaning you'll have to beat at least some of the secondary sections in order to progress. The levels are structured pretty much the same. You've got the main path through and then a few secondary areas to find for the extra objectives and mini-games. So you may be wondering, given the fact that the gameplay here is virtually identical to the previous game, what exactly sets this game apart from Spyro 2, apart from the story? Well, the main feature in this game is that you don't actually play as Spyro for the whole thing. Yep, while you do play as the Ovis Obliterator for the majority of the game, you also meet several new characters over the course of your adventure who you get to play as well, each with their own unique abilities. But how do you meet and unlock these new characters? Well... Oh, look who it is. The gem-hoarding, miserly grifter not even Dickens could conceive of. Back up to his old tricks. Only now he's not even skirting the line of being a bottom-feeding war profiteer. Now he's just straight up working for the enemy. Basically, Barney the drag queen has captured all these creatures that have been causing her trouble and tasked moneybags with minding them. Unless of course you pay a small fee for the fucker to look the other way and accidentally allow the poor creatures to escape. So the cheeky fucker's actually playing both sides and making a profit. The guy just has no morals or ethics whatsoever. And you know, I can kind of respect that. But of course the bastard's still not content just to take your gems to free his charges. You'll still meet him plenty other times throughout your quest, obstructing your progress unless you give him a few more gems for his fucking sack.
Like a troll under a bridge, you must stand the stickers or you won't pass.
Although once again, I'll admit that it is good that Moneybags at least gives you something to spend your gems on. I mean, it's not as if you do anything else with them. So anyway, in each of the hub worlds you'll have the opportunity to unlock a new character, allowing you to play as them for certain parts, usually some of the extra areas you access throughout the game. You've got Sheila the Kangaroo, Sergeant Bird the Penguin Soldier, Bentley the Yeti, and Agent 9. The core gameplay is pretty much the same as playing as Spyro, but each character's specific abilities do help to make playing as them feel at least somewhat distinct. But honestly, I think the biggest contribution they bring to the game is all the new ways in which they allow you to murder poor innocent animals to replenish your health. I mean, in the previous games you were limited to just burning and goring the poor things, but here you can kick them, stomp them, blow them up with rockets, bash their heads in with clubs and shoot them with lasers. This is just an animal murder sim at this point. I was just joking before, but seriously, how's Peter not been all over this like flies on a fucking carcass? So as mentioned previously, the secondary objectives and minigames that made the gameplay so fun and varied in Spyro 2 are back, and big shock, they're just as fun and varied as before. Except for this shit, fuck this shit, and fuck whoever came up with it as well. Fuck 'em. You know how many times I got game over from doing this? Motherfuckers. There's plenty of extra things to do, many of which involve the new characters and play to their individual abilities. I also like that a lot of these minigames dip into different subgenres, like sports, racing and even first-person shooters. Some of the most notable bits are the skateboarding segments that pop up several times, and play and control pretty well. Then there's the boxing bit with Bentley, that was fun but also hard as balls. And you've got to remember this bit, where you chase the dragons around and blast them, but every time you hit them a bit of them flies off so they become a smaller target and get harder to hit, and if you don't hit them again then they start to grow back. This bit drove me fucking nuts. I can only imagine how I must have felt playing this when I was little. Fuck, if you think I'm bad tempered now, you should have seen me back then. The Speedways return once more, but oddly enough these were the easiest of the entire series. It didn't take me nearly as long to beat them as in the previous games. You're given much more time now, and they straight up tell you the best order to use to beat the Speedway, instead of letting you figure it out for yourself. In addition to the time trials, there's also races now, although I didn't find them too difficult either. You just have to stay on course and hit as many of the supercharged things as possible, simple as that. Anyway, like in Spyro 2, once you beat all the levels in a homeworld, you move on to the next one, but first you've got to fight a boss. This time Barney the drag queen creates monsters from her Rhinoc minions to send after you, not unlike Big Evil Frogman from Croc. These fights play out pretty much the same as in Spyro 2. This first guy was pretty easy. All you've got to do is charge him so he'll fly into the lava until he sinks to his death. Well, it's good to see Spyro hasn't lost his brutal streak. Overall, these fights were just fine really. They weren't all that challenging and didn't do anything new, so there's not a lot to say about them. From here on out, the game follows the same basic pattern as the others. You reach the next homeworld, go through all the levels, find the eggs and then beat a boss before moving on to the next one. As I said previously, outside of the new mini-games and characters, the gameplay is pretty much identical to Spyro 2, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? But this does feel a little too familiar. The improvements here are a lot more subtle than those that Spyro 2 had over Spyro 1, which again isn't a bad thing. Spyro 2 was an excellent game, so it would have been very difficult to improve significantly upon it with what was available at the time, but I just wish that more could have been done to further set this game apart from its predecessor. The controls feel exactly the same. If there were any improvements made, they're so small that I didn't notice them, but they're fine enough, about as good as you can ask for on PS1. Spyro controls just as well as ever, and the other characters are fine as well, although a couple of them do feel a little clunky and cumbersome, which did make some of the minigames harder than I felt they had to be. And speaking of the new characters, while they definitely do add more to the game and work to set it apart from what's come before, and were fun to play as for the most part, I still would have preferred if we just played as Spyro for the whole game, and they came up with new ways to make playing as him different to Spyro 2, instead of making us play as a bunch of other characters that we don't know and feel slightly out of place. The graphics have had some subtle improvements too. As I said in the previous video, you can't expect that much improvement given these games came out just 1 year after each other, but you can tell that there's been some evolution in the detail of the environments and the character models. You can't see it that much when you compare it with Spyro 2, but when you go back and look at Spyro 1, the differences are a lot more noticeable. The story here is the most complex of the whole series. It's no Kingdom Hearts, but there's definitely more going on than in the previous games. It was pretty interesting to see the relationship between the sorceress and Bianca, and watch it break down as the latter gradually realises just how evil her mistress is, to the point where she ends up switching sides and helping you. The sorceress is a pretty cool villain, and she's definitely the most evil character in the whole series, but I did find Ripto a bit more entertaining. He just had some funnier lines and I liked his voice more. The levels are just as well designed here as in Spyro 2. They don't have the same little self-contained stories as in the previous game, but they do have their own characters and feel distinct from one another. I think these are some of the most memorable levels of the whole series. I've had images of Fireworks Factory and Haunted Tombs in my head for years, and they're exactly the same as I remember. Desert Ruins is essentially a homage to some other PlayStation classics. There's a side-scrolling part that references Crash Bandicoot, and then you meet Tara Croft, and, well, they got her proportions right. So anyway, once you collect at least 100 eggs, you can finally take on the sorceress. This fight pretty much follows the same format as what came before. You can't harm her with either your flame breath or charge. Instead you've got to jump into the various cannons and vehicles that drop around the arena and use them on her. It was an alright fight. Not hard, not as good or climactic as the fight with Ripto. That felt more like an actual final battle, more epic and evolving, while this feels more like just another of the smaller standard boss fights you've faced before. Another reason why Spyro 2's final fight felt more epic was that you actually interacted with Ripto at various points throughout the game, creating a more personal connection and making the player feel more invested in defeating him. But in Spyro 3, you never actually interact with the sorceress. She doesn't even say anything to you when you fight her, so there just isn't that same level of investment. Anyway, you beat her and once again we get to see another poor fucker burnt to death in lava. Man, the guys at Insomniac really had a thing for throwing things into lava. Are they just a bunch of sadists over there? Or is their favourite film Terminator 2? Yeah, I actually forgot to make that joke in the previous video. Anyway, with the sorceress defeated, Spyro saves the day once more. But wait. Oh shit, it's not over. But there's a more pressing issue to deal with first. Hunter's missing and you need to find him. Spyro travels across the land, searching far and wide, speaking to all his friends, old and new, but no one seems to know where Hunter is. Or do they? Yeah, it doesn't take an expert at fucking L.A. Noire to know that these fuckers are hiding something. So eventually, Spyro arrives at Fireworks Factory, where he learns the horrible truth. Oh god, ew, no, I don't want to see that shit. This is like the start of some furry fucker's fucked up fantasy. No. So even though you've beaten the sorceress, the game's still not over, because there's still more dragon eggs and gems to collect. But there's one other matter to attend to first. Come here, moneybags, you son of a bitch! Give me my fucking gems back! Yeah, how'd you like my fucking horn up your ass, motherfucker? This is what you get, you greedy fuck! This is what all you pigs deserve! Eat the rich! Eat the rich! Yeah, run away, you money-grubbing son of a bitch! Alright, where to next? Well, you may have noticed these signs on your travels, hidden at levels for sparks, but you couldn't do them then. Well, now you can. I actually thought these levels only unlocked once you'd completed the main game, but turns out you just need to beat a homeworld's boss to access them. So since we've played as a bunch of other characters, might as well play as the Eater of Souls as well. These are just some simple top-down levels. You play as the Butterfly Butcherer and make your way through the maze, defeating enemies and collecting gems. You can shoot enemies and charge them just like Spyro, and pick up power-ups to get some special attacks. And if you're low on health, just devour another poor butterfly. Once you reach the end, you fight the boss, and then get an egg. These bits were simple, but also surprisingly difficult. It's easy to get overwhelmed by enemies, and it doesn't take them long to drop your health. The saving grace is that dying in these levels doesn't cost you lives, so you can just keep trying again and again until you beat them. So once you've collected all the eggs and gems, you unlock one final level. This is mostly just a bonus level where you can play a few more mini games, catch a few thieves, do this fucking bullshit, and collect more gems that you'll never do anything with. You know, when you think about it, Spyro may be an even bigger gem hoarder than Moneybags. And then once you've done all that, it's time for the real final battle. The sorceress is still alive, and she's pissed. This is just another standard fight. You jump in the flying saucer and chase the bitch around, shooting her until she crashes and dies. This really just seems like if they took the second stage from the first fight and moved it here, and made it its own fight. Whatever, so you beat her again, she takes a nosedive into the pink lava, and there you go. Now stay dead, you egg-stealing dino piece of shit! So with the sorceress gone and the eggs recovered, all is well in the dragon realms again. The eggs have hatched and the young dragons are driving their elders up the wall, and now they all wish they'd just left the little fuckers to the sorceress. Have you noticed there aren't any female dragons? Where do all the eggs come from? How do they reproduce? So that's Spyro, Year of the Dragon. And in conclusion, well, you know how I said in the last video that Spyro 2 was the Empire Strikes Back to Spyro 1's A New Hope? Well, this kind of feels like Return of the Jedi. A fantastic game, but one that doesn't quite surpass the quality of the previous entry. Although that's more due to the fact that Spyro 2 was so good that it would have been extremely difficult to surpass it. Spyro 3 is a great game, but I just feel that it doesn't really do enough to build upon what Spyro 2 did. The improvements here are a lot more subtle than those between Spyro 1 and 2. But as I said, this is still a great game. It's fun and engaging and can even be pretty challenging at times. I liked the new characters, even though personally I would have preferred to just play as Spyro, but I appreciate the changes they bring to the gameplay. So yeah, if you liked Spyro 1 and 2, you can't go wrong with Spyro 3. But just because this is the end of the original trilogy, doesn't mean Year of the Dragon was the final outing for our favourite animal annihilator and his devourer of souls. Although it was the last one on PS1, and the last one developed by Insomniac Games before moving on to another of their flagship series, Ratchet & Clank. There were further Spyro games on platforms such as PlayStation 2, GameCube, Game Boy, PS3, Xbox 360 and Wii, although none of these were as well received as the original games. I actually remember owning the next main game in the series, Enter the Dragonfly, on PS2, and I also remember even back then it not being as good as the games on PS1. They even rebooted the series entirely with the Legend of Spyro trilogy, with a completely new story that was darker and more serious than in previous entries. The last original Spyro game was Dawn of the Dragon, which released all the way back in 2008, a full 10 years before the Reignited trilogy. Will there be another Spyro game, in the style of the remakes perhaps? Who knows? I've heard rumours that one might be in the works, but all we can do is hope. So it's been a decade and a half since Spyro's last original adventure. I wonder what the purple one's been up to. Well, I suppose old habits die hard. Well, that's our Spyro trilogy done and dusted, and I am so happy. You know how hard it is to write about games that are actually good and find things to joke about? It feels like you're bashing your head against the wall half the time, but overall I'm happy with how these videos turned out, and I hope you enjoyed watching them as much as I enjoyed making them. Thank you very much for watching the video, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, then please like and subscribe. If you didn't, then tell me to go fuck myself, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. And now, I need to take a vacation of my own.